All right, so I want to show you about this Module 2, the thermal grids explained, okay? So we can see if I can help you guys make sense of exactly how this works. What are the thermal grids? Forex Joe began calculating variations of support and resistance levels back in 2001. He then started experimenting with different time frames, and this information is very effective. However, it's complicated. So what we've done is we've combined the data from 6 reports. We've simplified it to generate the thermal grids. Now, first thing we did is we pulled from the daily reports. The only thing we pull from here are the channels, right here, the channels. Then we go over to one of 4 spreadsheets. There's 4 spreadsheets total, plus the daily reports. And we pull for each row is a pair. We pull all of this calculated, number 2, all this calculated information. And then number 6, report number 6, is the compacting and compressing the channel report. Each column is a pair, and we take these important levels, and we take all of this 6 reports, and we put it together. Now, we have many different calculations of support and resistance and support and resistance price levels for each currency pair. There's monthly price levels, there's weekly, there's daily, and then we have our proprietary. Now, the different trading styles reference different time frame calculations of support and resistance for the price levels. Okay, so position traders like Forex Joe look at monthly levels, and swing traders look at weekly. Day traders and scalpers look at day levels, and then there again, there's our proprietary bias and key information. Okay. Well, when a group of price level appear across multiple time frames, that is a cluster. All trading styles are watching these price levels. So when Joe says probability factors, that's all that means. It just means that everybody's coming together at the same point. When Joe says the numbers don't lie, what he's really saying is when all these numbers cluster together across multiple time frames, you will have a trade opportunity. So again, when price approaches these levels, we're presented with trade opportunities. Now, monthly, weekly, daily, and our proprietary. Okay. Now, see that? That's a cluster. Price levels align perfectly or very closely across multiple reports or spreadsheets. That's a cluster. Now, we took all the data from these 6 reports, compiled it into one report. We analyzed the data to identify clusters. We produce a summary for each currency pair, and then we draw that out on the charts before. This is the magical part. I shared this with somebody. The guy goes, oh my gosh, you guys are going to be rich. He goes, you tell me you have this data before the market opens? I said, yep. Blew his mind. So here we go. Here's an example of the thermal grid report detail. So number 1, all the data from the 6 reports, it's simply compiled and sorted by price right here. Okay? Number 1, that's what this is. Number 2, we do some analysis on this to identify groupings or clusters. The larger the cluster number, the stronger that price level will be. Okay? Now, this is cool. Clusters are weighted. The more price levels grouped together, the stronger the resistance will be for price to move through that area. Okay? Now, gray is there's just 2 levels are close together. If it's a black label, price label, you'll see there's 3 or 4 levels close together. If it's red, that means 5 or more levels are close together. Okay? Now, this is a piece of cardboard. Gray is 2 levels close together. It's kind of weak. Price may slow down here at these levels, but it doesn't always. So personally, I do not trade gray levels. Look, here's an example of a gray cluster. Price just smoked it. And I double checked this day, there was no news. It just blew through these levels They're not as respected as others. So that's just one example to show you, okay? Now, black is a 3 or 4 level, 3 or 4 levels are close together. That's stronger. Price will normally slow down or stop at these levels. It's kind of like a piece of plywood. I mean, you can wrap that thing with a hammer, you can stand on it. It's tougher, it's weighted heavier. Does this make sense? So here's some examples of black clusters, and look at how price struggled. Look at how price stopped very close. Look at how it stopped here before it went up. You know what I mean? So black is a stronger, it's more of a respected cluster. Got it? Now red, this is like Spancrete or concrete, you know, they build highways with this stuff. Red is 5 or more levels close together. It's very strong. Price will stop dead and struggle at these levels. Red, 5 or more. The biggest I've seen is 9, and I'm telling you, price wasn't going through that thing. Trust me. I'll have to pull that one out and show you. Here's an example of a red cluster. Price stops or struggles. Look at this. This is today on the US yen. Smoked right into a red cluster, got slammed, and turned around, pumped it right back down. This is where we were trading to bounce off this red. Look at how it held for, these are 15-minute candles. I mean, you're talking it's almost 2 hours. It just could not get below here. I like black and I like the red clusters. Those are the only ones those are the only ones that I trade are the black and the red clusters, okay? So here's what we did. We further simplified the report to just the summary section for each currency pair. Notice the clusters are color-coded to match what I've just shared with you. Gray, 2. Black is 3s or 4s. Red is 5 and above. And look at the yen has got an 8 and a 5. That's awesome. Okay? Now, here, our system visually displays this information directly on your charts automatically every day prior to the start of the Asia session. You get it, they're going to come in an hour before Asia, sometimes maybe even earlier. You're going to see them drawn, and you're going to be able to plan your day with this. This orange box, kind of red, is Asia. The gray box is London, and the blue box is New York. These are the sessions. The thermal grid indicator showing the clusters on a chart right there. Okay, you got your grays, you got your black, and you got your reds. Okay? So, look at here. The cluster summary report is color-coded. Gray clusters are 2 levels, black clusters are 3 or 4 levels, and the red clusters are 5 or more levels. Okay? They are taken from that summary, and that is what is the indicator that goes directly onto your charts. They line up perfectly. Okay? That's how that works. It's that simple. So basically, the power of what we've figured out here, which is kind of almost embarrassing, it's taken us 2 years, but we did it, is we took a very powerful system that Joe has, and we finally boiled it all down to this report and put it on your charts, and it's nothing short of magical because it works. Then, in addition to that, we also can notify you when price approaches these clusters by this PC alert that you can configure, or by email. Look, here it says it's 1 pip from the cluster size 8, 76.58. Currently price is at 76.56.9. So it's right here. It's saying it's a pip away from this cluster price, and the cluster is 8. So look at, here's a 3, there's an 8, there's a 3, there's an 8, there's a 3, there's an 8, and it's, I've got it set every 15 minutes. It'll ping me, and I just watch this little, like a ticker. It just scrolls through, and I just keep looking for big clusters, and it prices near those big ones. Then I flip to the chart, and that's how I take advantage of it. Okay? So that was just a quick PowerPoint I put together. On Module 2, we're going to call this kind of the thermal grids explained.